A little bit of a light moment here as we sit at Kings Park, having a conversation with the Centurion. That is Coach Robert Musinguzi, but more popularly known as Coach Bobby, who last weekend against Rhinos managed his 100th game as head coach of the Black Pirates. Coach Bobby, I would like to say welcome to Kawowo Sports, but I think it is better for us to say thank you for hosting us at your home here at Kings Park.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. That's one. Yeah, thank you for hosting me at Kawowo Sports. Really.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations on the 100 matches as a coach. It's a very, very big achievement, I believe.
Yes, but I believe quite a number of people, number of coaches down here. I think I've done it. I think for me, maybe I just kept the numbers. I kept the numbers, so yeah, it's a big thing, you could say.
Yeah, I thought the same as well, that a number of coaches have been in the game longer than you have been, and we've not been able to notice that they've hit 100 games. But you've shown that you're a man of the numbers, and you've kept them straight from not just your players, but also the number of games you've managed.
Yes, it is like a hobby. I like to look at stats. I like to measure things. I like the way I operate. I like to measure things according to certain KPIs. I just look at numbers. So it's one of the numbers as I was checking the number of cups different players have had under me, and that's when I got to realize actually I was getting closer to 100. Then I realized I got into 100.
All right. I would think it would be good to start from where it all began. Way back in 2017. Yeah, so I think we should go all the way with the Sailors. Tell us about those first days when you started coaching.
I think with Sailors, it was quite challenging. I realized actually challenges still happen till today. But it was a team which I could call it, then it was more of a seasonal team. When the players are in holidays from school, then you have quite a number of players. And when the school starts, then the numbers dwindle. And at that time, you would be allowed to have someone play for Pirates. And if they get injured and they need some game time, they would come in down to Sailors, get to play. Then when they are okay and good to go, they move up to Pirates, and that's it. So availability of the players was a big issue. And by Thursday, if you have a game on Saturday, you are not yet sure who is going to be with you, who are going to be your players, until the head coach gets to choose from Pirates who's going to play for Pirates, and which other guys can be left out, and then also convincing them to be ready to play for Sailors team since I've been left out up there. So those challenges were there, but we kicked off with Sailors. I jumped into the mix really to support. I felt I needed to do some running after I'd left playing, I think, for 5 years, and I came back 5-6 years. So with Sailors, I would come in, drop in, just to help the coaches, but I wasn't taking it. I wasn't giving it that full commitment. I think until the time around, I think 15, 16. I was invited to come and be the Sailors coach when Sendija Solomon was the director at that time. So I did get to work with Sailors, and but again, still same issues. Availability of players was a problem, but I think we worked our way till we got to the finals of the Shield, Uganda Cup Shield, with with players who were not training, who would come in. You'd have 5 guys, and Saturday you have over 25 to 28 players suddenly pop up. You get an extra 20 players on Saturday. So I got this thing that, if we get these players to actually come in for training and they get to play, then we can do something better.
I think I remember my earliest memory that I can think of about like working with you is we were playing. I was playing for Sailors. We were playing against Impis at Legends, and I felt I should have started. but I was on the bench up until around the like 75th minute or something, and he told me to jump in. I am given my first carry, a very hard tackle, and at that point I thought maybe coach could have been right at that point, but that's my earliest memory working with you, especially with sailors, where
Yes.
I am still part of.
Yeah, it Sailors was a very good group, I could say. Young players willing to learn, willing to throw their bodies on the line, willing to impress, not just to show, to show what they have, but showing that to their teammates that actually they deserve to be there and they deserve to get a promotion to the senior team. So I always liked them. I always liked working with them. Even today, I really do like working with sailors. And at the time, I think I felt, before the Pirates thing came up, I felt, I think I was watching the Bamburi series. I was away watching the Bamburi series on TV. And, got to see the way we were playing. And somehow I didn't feel, okay, I was challenged, the way we were playing. Even the Kenyan teams, and get to look at the other leagues outside Uganda, how they are playing and how they get to enjoy the game. It made me think and challenged me that, why can't we do that? So that's what I had in mind. Why can't we play like these guys? What do they have that we don't have? At least can't we play maybe 25% of what they are doing? So that drove me to now really get serious, to get committed to sailors and get to work with them to see that we can improve the brand of rugby we were playing at the time. And, got me reading different about the game, getting to research about the game, what is done, how do you do it, what structures are there, attacking structures, defensive structures, how do you get things to be done. And as I was, getting all that together, then I was informed that Coach K. Chinene was leaving the country, and he had to. There was need for someone to step in and do the coaching at Pirates. So I was approached. I felt it was a bit early. I felt I would. The plans I had for sailors, I really didn't want to dump them. Because I felt I wanted to be the one to go there and try to implement them, so no one knew about them. I felt no one would understand what I was trying to bring. But I didn't have that time, so I was told, you move up. Are you comfortable? I said, yeah, it's okay, let's try, let's do this.
Is it safe to say that the sailor's master plan is what you brought to Pirates?
Correct. The sailor's master plan is what we moved on to Pirates. And but yeah, the first year, majorly, the first year was to stabilize what we had, because being a new face, guys, yes, would see me, but would see me with sailors. Majority of the players were new to me, and I think I was new to them. I would just see them once in a while when I would come in to watch games, or see them on TV, but I didn't know who they were. They didn't know who I was. When I would come down for training, they knew, okay, this guy was a former player of the club, and that was it. So I knew it was going to be a challenge for them to be accepted. Different rumors came up when they had Coach K was leaving the country. They had different coaches they thought who were going to come in and coach, and in their minds, well, I was never part of them. I was never part of the coaches who were going to take up the reins at Pirates as head coach. So there I was, stepping in with players who had different expectations. So I knew if I bring this master plan, or this plan which I had, or the vision I had, was not really going to work immediately. I needed to get a captain. I needed to get someone who will work with me, who will believe in what I'm going to be doing. And that's all I needed. I needed just that one person. Just one person I can work with. And yeah, so we did the search. Then I think Matthew was the captain.
Yeah,
when
Matthew?
Yes, Gary Matthew was the captain when Coach K was still around. I think I did a stand-in on the last game against Mongas. I worked with him. He had different way of doing things, which I did appreciate. And I think after that season, I think he said he wasn't playing again. So I had to think who was going to be captain. I had different names come to mind, but I thought Marvin Odong would be the guy, given the experience and given that I had Dennis Etuket, who I thought was actually the right man to run this job. But then Dennis Etuket being of another generation to these younger guys, we may have some issues. Marvin Odong was perfect for me, given that he was of their generation. He was a guy they talk about, in the dressing rooms, in their school days. This is the guy they were always idolizing. So I felt if he steps up, he would do the job.
Yeah, so you get your men for the job, and it's very good to note that you're still working with this gentleman now as director of rugby.
Yes.
But the head coach is Marvin Odong. You started with him as coach. Dennis Etuket is coaching the Sailors, and he's also part of your technical team with the Pirates.
Correct.
So it is good to see that the men that you chose for that role for the very first time have stuck with you through the journey of the 100.
Correct. And, I felt if you get the guys who believe in you, then, you would make it work. So for me, it was if the captain I had to first convince him to be captain. He didn't seem he wanted to be captain. He had his own reasons why he didn't want to be captain. But he told me he would think about it, and I prayed to God that really he does allow. Which he came back to me and said, you know what, let's give it a try. If it does not work that well. Someone had approached him actually before me. I think the director then, Solomon, had approached him. But I felt it should be the coach to get the captain. So I also approached him. I told him, you know what, I want you to be my captain. And he said he would get back to me. He thought about it. Then he came back and said, you know what, yeah, okay, let's work. But I felt in his voice, his body language, he felt like, let's just give it a try and see. I was like, okay, all I have to do is, if I get Marvin on my side, then I'll get the team on my side. Yeah. So that was the job. Get Marvin to your side, then the team will follow.
So first season, but let's talk about that first game in the 2017 Uganda Cup.
Yes.
I think that game was against Impis.
Yes, against Impis. Impis, we had actually played them, I think we had played them before in a friendly. But, getting the team together and the like. So that time I wasn't thinking of any changes. I was thinking, let's go there, stabilize, let's work with what we have. Picking up from Coach K, I didn't know our style of play. I didn't know what moves we had. So I was just learning on the job, you could say. I was just learning what are the moves we have and what works for us. And I didn't know actually what would work for us, what wouldn't work for us. But just kept trusting the guys. Marvin this side, Ivan in the backs. Try to understand what they have, what moves they have, see what we can use, what we don't. So Uganda Cup, my target then was to see that we maintain, okay? Because I knew I was going to be judged by that. I was going to be judged by the players, or maybe the administration would have some lenience with me, but I didn't think the players would be patient with me. If we get in there and we don't do what they have been doing, it would be an issue. And I think the previous season, Uganda Cup, Pirates had gone to the finals. So I felt we needed to just get to the finals. That was majorly my target. Let's get to the finals. Let's maintain that. Let's get to see what happens after that. So we go to the finals.
Yeah, if I were to recall, that was against Heathens, the first Uganda Cup final.
Yes, that was against Heathens. And I felt the finals also was a lot of drama there. That final, we played Heathens, which was a very strong Heathens team. I think I don't know how they do it, but they're always a strong team. So it was a very strong team then, with Philip, Sumani and all that. And everywhere you'd look, you'd be like, hey, are we really going to go past these guys? And I think at the time, Haruna was supposed to be doing his finals finals in
Kololo.
UCE,
Yeah.
UCE exams. So we decided as a club, you know what, if he's going to do his exams, he's not going to be involved in rugby. So he was, taken off the list. So there I didn't have a fullback. That time he was like the non-fullback, who they knew this is a fullback. So I needed a fullback for that game. Okay, we kind of survived through till the final. We thought maybe for the final they would squeeze him in and, just a one game, play, go back. But then we took a stand that, you know what, if we have decided to choose to move this way, we're going to move that way without him. Let him concentrate on his studies, and from there he can come back and, he'll find us. We're not going anywhere. So that game, my biggest issue was to get a fullback. The fullback then, so Haruna was out. The other games really played around. So I chose Timothy Chisiga to be fullback. And why I chose him really was he was good in the air. He had a good boot on him. And I looked at other wingers we had who could go there, and they could not really kick that much, and they were not that comfortable in the air. So I think that was the biggest test for me. Then after getting the captain, I chose the leadership team, which I felt if we have these guys in place, they always spread my gospel to the other players. So I think the training, I think a Tuesday training before the final, we were, put Kisiga at the back, and we're doing some contact sessions. I think he missed quite a number of tackles, and I'm like, but I still believed in him. But the leaders felt, no, this is not the guy for the job. So on the Friday night, as we got to select the team, that's where the problem was, number 15, who would play number 15. And I had to convince them that this is the man for the job, and they threw different names at me. The different names, I would just, look for gaps in them and just mention this, he can't do this, he can't do that, this guy would do. Then it came to, I think, late towards midnight, Friday. Hadn't yet really put out the list. I was like, yeah, guys, this is... we had sent, I think, a general list to the union, but we hadn't yet concretized who's going to be starting 15. Oh, yeah. So till, I think, late in the night, and I think one guy, they started changing one by one. I think one of them is like, you know what, guys, if this guy is at the back, if we do our job in front of him, you will not need any tackles. You won't do any tackles if we do our job. So if we fail to do our job, why do you expect him to do his job if you failed? So it kind of started convincing the guys, and, he went on. So we went for the final, and I think played, and I didn't think we had the firepower to really take them, but somehow we kept in the game. I think they first put on 2 quick tries, and, we were surviving on penalties. Then we got to somehow, God helped us, give us a try, then another try, then we were within. I think towards the last minutes, I think we were leading. Then they got a scrummage. No, I think the scrummage was ours. It was our scrummage in our 5, pressure ball, and they were pushing us the whole time. The whole game they were pushing. Whichever scrummage was, whether theirs or ours, they would always win it. So I think Marvin picked up the ball at number 8, moves forward. I think he sets up a rack. They're over him, and still, up to I still feel there were hands in that rack. But then it happened. The ball is out, stolen, goes out back the back line, chip over, they make a try, the game ends.
Yeah, I remember the drama that surrounded that game. But that was the first final, the first Uganda Cup final.
That was the first final
you managed with the Black Pirates, a brand of young boys who you came back the next year to the Uganda Cup final and still faced on events.
Yes.
And this time you're able to get one over them. What was the difference?
I think by the time after that Uganda Cup, we went through the league, and slowly I started bringing up a few things which I wanted us to work on as a team. The way we were playing, I felt we needed to go wide. Since given the people we had, we really didn't have such big men, such big forwards. I think Didi by then now is looking big, but that time he was, I think, half the size.
Yeah, I've seen those
and
photos from
he was the biggest guy, I think, with Tobias, who was now a center and also was quite big. And we really didn't have the big guys. So I felt our strength would be in running the ball. If we get fit enough and we get to spread the ball, if we play a wide game, it would really work for us. So we did work with it beginning of off-season, and getting to the trial games and to the quarterfinals. And we got into the quarterfinals. I think now in the semi-finals, that's where it was really going to be tested, because some of the senior players still didn't believe it was going to work for us. They felt we need to muscle up. And I felt if the guys are much bigger than you, then why waste time muscle up with them? Just when they have the ball, muscle up. When you don't have the ball, do not. Just leave them, use your strength. So we played, I think, Cobs. And against Cobs, they scored first, which was an intercept try, I think. And second try, I think, was a missed tackle. I think first half ended 21-3, if I remember well. Yeah. Which I think we hadn't done enough. I think we had kind of gifted them the tries, really. I felt they didn't really work hard enough to get those tries. And that was the message at halftime. I told guys, you have just gifted the guys. Let's get in there, get to play. Let's forget about keeping the ball short, just take it wide. So I felt if we keep it short, you're helping the guys who are not fit. But if you spread it wide, you have a plan, it'll work for you. So second half, they went in there, and Ivan at 10 decided to implement the plan and took it forward. And we kept spreading the ball, and we got scores. I think got to equalize. I think we got a penalty in the last minute to win the game.
That should be for the final.
No, that was a semi-final. Yeah. So we got a penalty, and then we scored. Then, wow, voila, we are back into the finals. Now we're in the finals with the game plan, a new game plan. Yeah. So I think after that game, majority, I think like 85% believe that actually this game plan we're using is going to work for us. So coming to the final, I again pushed for that to work, and I think the first minutes we blew away Heathens. Personally, I was shocked, but I think we blew them away. The guys came in with a purpose. I think they had felt the last two finals, they were so close, but yet so far. This time I think we had what it could take to get us there. We had the experience on the losing side, but we felt if we play the same way we had played earlier and with some more grit, then we could go over them, which we did. And I think that was a major turning point, really, to see that they went and implemented the plan. Even when they were tired, they could, you could still see snippets of the game plan coming through, and till we won the game. And it was a big score. I think we got to 30s. Putting 30s in the final was not a simple score, and against such a team with the pedigree of Heathens.
Yeah. So Uganda Cup was that 2017 Uganda Cup final was the first trophy in a season where you went on to win the treble. Many would think that it was, I could say, a moment like you're riding a high wave. But I would like to hear from what you thought in your eyes, how that season went. From the Uganda Cup final, you beat Heathens, then you go on to win the league, and then that brand of rugby now goes to the more expansive sevens, where there's more space for the young players and the smaller players to express themselves. And they ran away with it in the sevens that year. Yeah.
So maybe just to take you back, the season before that Uganda Cup, when we played, I think we played Buffaloes. Buffaloes was the turning point. It was, I remember, a Friday game, the 3rd of Feb, 2017. And we lost. We were playing at home at Legends then.
Yes, I remember that.
So we lost that game 7-14. Yeah. And I think they were both of them were intercept tries by Okia. But it was a turning moment. So Friday we get to lose. We felt the boys had the belief that that we would go and win the championship then. So when we lost, I felt if we didn't pick up ourselves, we were going to have more losses. And for me, it was going to be game over, really. Going to be like, what, this guy can't handle the team, let him go. So that Friday, on Saturday, I called in the boys. I invited them to my home to have some meat with me. And, we get to talk candidly what we felt about the game and what needs to be done. People decided to pledge what they can do for the club, what they can't do, what they require from the club. And I think that was the turning point, that Buffalo's game. I think from that time, I think that we lost in Feb 2017. The next time we lost a game was, 15th game was in March 2018. So it took over a year to lose a game. But from that meeting, from that discussion we had with the different players, and I thank God that all of them came in. I felt also it would be, it would be a litmus test to tell who will come in, who doesn't come in. Like a new coach, you're not sure who's on your side, who is not yet on your side. Are you aligned to the same goals? But all of them coming in really go to show, at least the core of the team coming in, go to show, that we have a group which is willing to work, a group that is willing to put in the hard work, is willing to spend time to see that they improve. And continuous improvement really is something which I wanted us to have as a culture at the club. So that was a sign for me that, this group wants to have that continuous improvement. This group wants to work hard. This group wants to change the culture of what they're having. They were tired of, being number two. So fast forward when, and in that time, I think was it Massa or Conrad? One of them go to vote that, what, there's no loss this year. And
should have been Conrad, for sure.
So he mentions that, and when we were in that meeting, we're like, guys, no loss, no more losing, and that was it. So that was a mantra. We picked it up, ran with it, and it gave us, each game we kept scoring, each game we kept putting targets, and when you put a target and you attain it, you gain that confidence. So the boys had the confidence, to do what they can do. They had the confidence that they can beat any team. And that's when they went on to dominate, win the following league, Uganda Cup, the league, and the sevens along the way.
Coach, you have been the architect of a different brand of rugby, different from what is known to be the Ugandan brand of rugby, where we use more of the ball, we're running around a lot, different from the hit here until the gap opens that the other clubs are using. How did you come up with that, to know that this is what is going to help me, and if my players can buy into it, then we'll be destined for great things?
All right. Well, as I was, looking at that, when I was looking at Sailors boys, then, small boys, I was like, what can work for us if you're a small team against guys who are big, where they have big players? And I discovered one, we need to work with speed. We need to work away. The bigger guys will not really get to do too much running. They would want to play, in a small area. So if you work in a small area with them, they're more powerful, they're stronger than you, they outmuscle you. But if you get to move them around, then you get to frustrate them. When they get frustrated, then they'll stop doing what their coach told them to do. And then when they stop doing that, then they're going to open up gaps, then you're going to start winning. So it took me back to, while I was looking at that, I get to watch quite some rugby all over the different countries. So in Ireland, there's a team called Connacht, which there was, I think, Pat Lam. Pat Lam had just come from New Zealand. I think was a Blues coach, went to New Zealand, went to Ireland as their coach and introduced a new playing system. It was a 2-4-2. And Connacht in the Irish provinces is not one of those you hear about, or one of those who are well known, like Leinster, Munster, Ulster. Yeah. So he brings this style of play to them because again they were like me, similar issues we're having. They were not bigger guys. They didn't have the budget to buy the bigger players. Same this side, we didn't have the budget for if you can't develop, then you are going to have to buy, but we couldn't buy them. So what we had to do, so I felt, I identified with him, what he had done there. I think they went on to win the championship. I think was
the
top
Guinness Pro 14.
Yes, that time it was Pro 12, something like that. So they got to win it, and this was the structure he had used. So I felt, you know what, if he can do it with that, if I can just implement maybe half of that or 25% of that, we can be in business. So that was the plan. So that happened, and you know, brought it down here, and it was working wonders for us as a team without, you know, without the big players, big as in size. And and what we needed to work on was measure the skills. So I really ensured that whatever we do, our skills, the basic skill of catch and pass had to be on point. And till date, really ensure that catch and pass is on point, and we can always execute with that. Then I think the other one was looking at extra chiefs also. Extra chiefs had come from in England this time. They'd come from
that's round 2, I think.
Yes, level 2. Then they came into level 1, and they worked so hard. And for them, it was a great, you know, the love for hard work to get them where they are, and they got to win. The championship that side, the premiership that time. So for me, those were the guys who pointed me that, you know what, if we put in the hard work, if we play a structure which works for us, that which doesn't work for the opposition, then we shall get somewhere. And you know, when it got to show, when it started showing and started winning the games, and some games I think were really big scores, and you know, the boys, the backline was enjoying themselves, the forwards were enjoying themselves. I think we had gotten something to work with as a club.
Yeah, so two things that I've noticed in the conversation we've had so far. One, you read a lot, and you like to see what other people are doing. But most importantly is you like to pick just small bits. It's more of let's take this small bit, add to what we are building onto. Is that the culture that you've been using all the way through?
For me, it works for me. We don't want to do systematic changes to overhaul everything, but you know, put in small changes, break it down to small bits, and if you also get to watch, you know, other teams train, you know, just put something small. If it is a catch and pass, if it's a back door, if it's a +1. Just break it down. Don't have to do the whole thing with the whole team. Break it down, see that it is chewable, it is manageable, and you know, get to implement it. I got to learn that, I think, from project management. When you know, you get little work, break it down to come up with the big work. So the same thing, I felt it would work for me. I would try as much.
In that 2017-2018 season, you're riding, you're the team to beat in the country. But then there's a big change that had to be made. Pirates had to find its own home.
Yes.
Please share with us what went on in that time, in terms of the rugby, but then also in terms of the management of the club as well.
I think it's again started with that that time we won those 7s. I think the season before. When there were internationals, the 7s would happen when the internationals are happening.
Yes.
So when the internationals were happening, you would find that like legends that would bid, and they would win the bid to host the internationals, meaning that the national team would train from there. So we were left with no training grounds really. So it was a hard time. I remember there's a parking lot near where KCCA stadium is. The parking lot would, across the road, would sneak in there, try to train from there. It was hard ground, but then there would be some guys who had some soccer guys had paid to use it. Some old men, you know, come around to run. So when they would come, you know, they would throw us away. Then we squeeze in a corner. Then also, I think when things were failing, we decided to do our S&C at the Legends parking lot. I think the year we won the 7s again, we had similar issues. We didn't have where to train from the time. National team was using a whole pitch. We could not even use, like the try line, try area, or dead ball area. There was no chance. It'd say this is for national team and you had to step away. So we would use that, and I think what came to help again was, I think we got invites from Buffaloes, Chadondo, to come and do small trial games with them. So we went there. We didn't have, I think, we didn't have some names in my mind then who I felt were big names for us to move us the next level. I think the sevens were attended by majorly the junior guys, and the juniors then was Timothy Chisiga, there was Masa, Muchu, Nkore, David Businje. So those were the junior guys, and those were the guys doing the sevens. So, and even the senior guys then were not coming in to really play sevens. So Ivan Magom was national team, Ivan national team, Rujumba I think wasn't around the time. So we took that team to the Chadondo sides, and we were playing friendlies midweek, get in there, play 7 minutes, get off another team 7 minutes. And I felt the boys were playing well, and we kept on, those small games. We were winning those small games. And for me then was, get these young boys exposed to these guys, and when they get the feeling that, they can get closer to them, they can actually put points on them, we'll be good to go. And we did that. So come the sevens, same boys came in, throw in Ivan Magom, throw in Baron Kasozi, and the others. We went on to play the sevens. I think there was also, some of them have been invited for the sevens training at the time. The Desires, Chisiga also. So they brought a lot of experience from there into the team. For me, it's always learning. And, brought some new things which personally I didn't know, and I got to pick up from them, and I encouraged them to pick whatever they can from the national team, bring this side, let us learn together, let's teach, let's ensure everyone gets to know that knowledge, and we spread it out. So that's what we did. They got to do that, and they got to play. So from that time, the decision was we can't keep, training in a parking lot if we're going to keep winning things. So we had to take a decision, a few members, that we needed, as a club, we needed some grounds where we can be, and train and expand and bring up the vision we want to bring up for Black Pirates. So that's where we got to think and searched for places and looked for partners, because also as a club you don't have that money. One were always the club which didn't have the monies even to play players. So getting money to buy the pitch or to buy grounds was something which wouldn't happen. But we looked around to get partners, and we got some partners who are willing to work with us, and this is where we are today. And I thank God for that we had to do that transition. It wasn't a simple one, but we felt beginning of 2018-2019 season, we had to do it. It was a milestone. And whatever needed to be done had to be done to see that the first game of that season was held here. And I think, we played Mongas. Yes, we played Mongas, and we got to win that game. There was a lot of pressure, your home ground, and you have to win the first game. So, we went on to win that game, and that pressure was knocked off. So it was a big match then, also a big transition, and but also it was a transition which also got to threaten the depth of the team, all the numbers, availability of the players, because Legends being in the center of town, from wherever you're coming from, Makere, Nakawa, Makinde, you just move to town and you're at Legends. Transport cost was cheaper. So moving this side of Bulgaria, the transport costs definitely went high, and majority of the players definitely could not afford to keep coming, training, and get paid at the end of the week. So that was a new challenge which we didn't have, which affected our numbers. But then we kept encouraging them, those who could handle kept on coming. And then, talking to different partners, I think that's when Stanbic came into the picture. started supporting the players to see that they can make it this side, give them a meal, and we're here. Because I was thinking the same thing could have happened. I know Pirates when they started, they trained at in Mengo, the school, a primary school, for them before they moved to Legends. So I felt, coming this side. At that time, people would be saying transport is an issue, but maybe 10, 15 years from then, no one would be knowing that even we're at Legends, and it will be easier for at least the community in Bweregere, Chireka, Nakawa, Namgongo, Mukono. They will be okay making the trekking all the way to Kings Park.
Yeah. When we look at the transition, it has been a very good transition, of course, that the club has its own home ground. Now there is enough space, I could say. You are probably the priority for this facility. There's the Sailors, there's the Black Pearls also training.
Yes.
And so there's that let me call it comfort, yeah? But that comfort has not exactly translated into the success that you realized in those final years at Legends Rugby Grounds up until last season in the Henry Rujumba Memorial Sevens, where Black Pirates won their first trophy at home.
Yes.
During the in the time that they came to Kings Park since they were at Legends.
True. There's always that pressure, it being your home ground, trying to do everything to see that you get to win. And, with the banter that is out there, the fans also put the pressure on you and the team. So for the team, I knew it would take some time. But thank God it finally came. It's something which you tick off, and you believe when you tick that off, things get better. Things get to work for you. You reduce the amount of pressure, and also transiting that, getting the players used. Now I think we have a new set. I think 2 or 3 sets who have started the universities. Now they are comfortable coming from Makerere to this side. They're comfortable coming from Mukono to this side. Those who have finished universities and now they are working, they are comfortable, either to drive here or board, get transport means to get them here. So that comfort has started coming, and the players are comfortable getting to Kings Park. And I think also the lockdown, did something. Yes, lockdown maybe elongated the time, but the time of the lockdown, there were quite a number of people who would come to Kings Park to play touch every Wednesday and Friday, which I felt also was very helpful for the club, in that if you'd come from wherever you are to come and play touch at Kings Park, then that meant that it was accessible, because before that, in everyone's mind, felt Kings Park was very far and it's not accessible. But if you can live where you are, maybe deep in Mukono or the other side of Makerere, and feel that you can move to Kings Park just to play touch, not even a competitive game, I think it opened up the doors, and the mindset changed for the different people that, this place is actually not far. And with that, we're getting quite a number of players now coming back, quite a number of players from different schools, joining. And even those in the neighborhood who feel Legends is quite far, or Chadondo is quite far for them, they find comfort in coming here. And from here is where you get to pick up who will be, the next, Ivan Magom, the next Marvin, or the next Conrad. And from these young boys. And I think even the Sailors team, which played the Sevens, majority of the boys who come from around, who stay around here, are the ones who are playing for that Sailors team. And, they performed quite well. Some circuits were not that good, but say like the Kabale circuit, I think they came out 6th. And I kept telling them that, you Sailors, for this 1 week, at least you're the 6th best team, 7th team in Uganda. Which was a good thing, picking them up. And, some of them now have moved to Pirates, but it's a good thing that they're coming up. I think Kamiza, Jones Kamiza stays around here. I think another 4 or 5 boys who stay around here. But for them now to come from home and train from here, they will have enough time. You have, the next Aaron of Wolworth, popping up here. They can have enough time to kick, enough time to practice their skills, which is a very good thing for this community.
Yeah, Coach, the 100 games.
Yes.
A number of coaches have been there before. Some are yet to go there. But who are some of those coaches, the toughest coaches that you have faced in the 100 games you have managed?
I think all of them are tough, really. I think they are all tough coaches. Tough in the sense that they want results from their teams and they demand that. But, you know, there are different coaches. You find those who are, you know, who technically play and in a way that, you know, they get to read the way you're playing and want to counter that. Then you find other coaches who, you know, want to get a result. Then others who really know that they have to get a result from you. Come whatever, they have to get a result from that. Then the other coaches who, you know, who do not believe whatever the ref says. They think the ref is always wrong. So there are different types. I can't say that so and so maybe was the toughest, but I felt all of them brought different challenges, and how you got to play them and how you got to interact with them maybe after the game or before the game, and you know how the game went, how they interact with you after the game. But over time we have been a bit friendly with the different coaches, because you know, you never know, you get to meet them in different spheres and you get to work with them. Like now at the national team, you'd want to use the same coaches to deliver a certain message, to deliver a certain way of playing to the players. So you find you need to work with these guys, and which is a good thing. So over time, I have, you know, come to befriend, yes, to familiarize with them and understand them, work with them, and you know, share a few challenges here and there, once in a while with some of them on how one is doing that, how one is doing this, the same issues we have as players, maybe player management, player discipline, the culture, the club, you know, things you can pick up from another club, which is a good thing if you pick up and, you know, bring, if it's a good thing and you bring to your club, well and good.
Yeah, one thing that had caught before the lockdown, and I think during the lockdown, was before every game, you used to share a bottle of wine with the coaches, and on your
non-alcoholic,
game, non-alcoholic drink.
Yes.
And before your 100th game, Martial Chumkam, who was also a former player when you were already coach, I think in the 2018 season, the only loss that Black Pirates suffered in that treble winning season was a team that involved Martial Chumkam.
Yes.
And he shared with you, I believe, a non-alcoholic drink before the game to celebrate the 100 games, which is a good thing.
It's a very good thing. Is a great gentleman of the game, I must say. Is a good coach, and you know, I applaud the work he's doing at Rhinos. You know, coming from the same way he was, you know, and bringing up the boys who believe they can do that for the club, and believe they are, you know, they are not whipping boys, but you know, they continuously keep improving. I think it's a very good thing, and you know, him coming out and you know, celebrating with me as a very good thing, very honorable thing. I really applaud him for that, and I thank him and the Rhinos management really to come through for me on that day, you know, with the gift, not the win, the gift. With the gift which they shared. It was a very good thing, and I think for all coaches, I believe that sharing of something before the game, you know, kind of reduces the tensions. I believe different coaches, we go through a lot. Recently, Coach Onen, I think, resigned from Hippos, but you know, many people don't know what the coaches go through, and I think there are mental issues which can come up. I believe, you know, that stress, that pressure you get from management to deliver certain results, and those results will definitely won't pop up, will not come in one go. You can try to accelerate them, you can try to bring in players you think will deliver that, but also if they don't appreciate what you're doing, then they may not deliver as fast as you think, or even if they appreciate, they may not deliver it as fast. So for me, that drink is more or less to welcome the coach home, to my home, that you're welcome to this place, and also to wish them a good game, and to take away the stress, because you come with all these targets you need to meet. You need to get a win. Maybe you need to get a bonus point. Maybe you need to win by a certain margin, or when you need to get a certain point from this game. So this for me is kind of to take that away from them, take that burden that, let's not think about getting the result, but we have a friendship. There is life after this game. So they take the drink after the game, which I guess remind them that, you can share laughter, you can move away from the stress, and take your drink nice and easy without being put under immense pressure, or kind of a way of fighting that mental stress.
Yeah, Coach, you have now progressed to Director of Rugby here at Black Pirates. You're working with your former captain, your first captain that you chose, Marvin Odong, as head coach, and you have also now joined the national team setup as the backs coach and assistant to Brian Makalama. Are we going to see a next 100, or you are setting your eyes on other targets?
Next 100, well, God willing, maybe. I don't know. I haven't really thought that much. But if God wills, why not? I'm there. Rugby, it's not a profession for me. So it is. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he told me, you've really taken your hobby very seriously. But it's a good thing. They say that when you're planning to retire, you need to get into a hobby you enjoy doing, that you can. And I think rugby will be one for me. But I enjoy rugby, not just playing, but watching it, analyzing it, seeing the different things that are being done, how the game is developing, what can be done next, what we can do in the future. So for me, I am still within rugby. I might be away, but I don't plan to move away, really. I don't plan to move away from coaching, from helping the young kids, because it's on my side also. It helps me, or it brings me, keeps me in touch with the world, keeps me in touch with the young players, what they're going through in their schools, those who are studying, those who are working. It keeps me talking to them, and I believe for us, is it not being that professional, it is a way to reach out to the younger guys, to younger generation, and help them out in the different challenges they face in life. Every time we come here, and I've seen from the players also, they join a club to find a home, to find where they can fit. Sometimes it's not about them winning, but where they can fit, where they feel there's some brotherhood, where they feel they can relate with someone. And what we are supposed to do, what I believe we are to do, is to give them the role, to be the role models for them, to show them that in life you can be a rugby player, but you can also succeed. In life you can be a rugby player, but you can also win at school. You can be a rugby player, you can still be the best at your workplace. So they get to see that, and for me, that's what keeps me going. That's a good motivator for me, that I'm always there for them to show, to be the guy they can approach and talk to. And I believe when you get your players to trust you, when the players trust you, when the players feel you are going out of your way to do something for them, then they will do that. Then they will come and deliver those trophies. They will play the way you want. And I think that was a key thing for me, that that time I had to ensure, to be seen, that I am caring for these guys. And when I did that, I felt the only way they felt they can repay me is to play for me and get to win for me, because I have gone out of my way to make them happy. So they would want to go out of their way, to make me happy. But for me, it is, if in their life they are successful outside rugby, if they live playing rugby, but they are successful and they can pass on that same message to the next guy who's coming in, then I think the whole rugby community gets to develop.
Right. Thank you very much, Coach. We are very glad that you've shared this shared this time with us and got to tell us the story of the 100 games, and not just about the rugby, but also your life as a person, as a professional, and your perspective of things, not just in sport, but everywhere, especially working with young men and ladies in the sport of rugby. We appreciate so much. We do not know where life will take you. You said, God willing, you could be here for the next 100, or you could be somewhere, but still supporting the sport and the young people. And we appreciate that very much. From me personally, I feel working with you as my coach and now also as a journalist, it's a bit of a different relationship, because I'm here speaking to you as a journalist, but tomorrow or probably Saturday, you'll be giving me instructions to execute on pitch. It teaches me how to, get a work-life balance, and knowing where the targets of life, and knowing what I would like to achieve with my own life. And it is one of those things that I have picked from being part of the 100 games you have managed for the Pirates. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
In the remaining, I could say, games, because we do not know where life will take us, but we will be glad to see you continue to go places.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, to get me out here to speak to you, to publicize the story. What you're doing is we can't take it for granted. And where the world is going, collecting the big data, I think what you're doing, you're collecting that data, which will become very important maybe sometime in the future. But also, the work you do to promote the game is something which is commendable. When I was playing, there were just snippets. There were just actually pictures of the game. And major finals, that's when, you'd get to watch the game on TV, but just for 30 seconds or 20 seconds, a Uganda-Kenya game, and there were not so many internationals at the time. So for me, I thank Kawowo Sports, for stepping out, putting in all the money you're putting in, investing in the sport. It's not an easy thing. I don't think you get much out of it, but for you to stick in there and see that the sport is publicized and many guys get to see it. I know now there are very many followers of rugby because of Kawowo Sports. Even outside Uganda, they get a chance to see it. And even the coaches, it is very helpful for them to look at the games, analyze and look at the teams, make a game plan out of it, make a plan for the next game out of what they have seen, which we never had. We never had the chance to, review these games, but now it can happen. And actually, maybe another story, but it was in the sevens. This is past sevens. I think when we lost in Soroti.
Yeah, that was to Heathens in the semi-finals.
Yes, Heathens in the semi-finals. Again, we had another meeting, just like the one we had at my place when we lost to Buffaloes. We sat, and I thank God for really technology, Kawowo Sports really. We sat in a boardroom of our hotel that night. I felt boys wanted to, go out and, take off the steam. But then one of the leaders came up with a brilliant idea. Let's sit as a team and discuss what went wrong. And with that, all we needed was there was a screen, which was a smart TV. So we just had to connect it to one of the phones, connect a Wi-Fi port there, then run to the internet. That very night, the games that happened during the day, but that night it was already uploaded on YouTube. Ran our video, went through step by step for that semi-final where we lost it, who caused what mistakes and what needs to be done to clean up. And after that Soroti tournament, we were a different team. The next 3 tournaments that came, because of that review we had, and I could say because Kawowo Sport had done a recording of that game, had taken footage of that game and put it up. We could access it in real time. We could access it that time in the night. Instead of the boys going out to party, they sat back, the whole team, and a few of the sailors boys who we invited in, to review the game, see what went wrong, what can be done to do it right. Clear all the air, because at the time we were starting to have a few fragments in the team, but that brought us together and took out the fragments and went on to perform. So I thank you. I don't know whether you guys knew it, but what you're doing is a good job, and it gets us together. It improves our rugby, and it gets us to the next level.
I think to close this, I think it would be safe to say that there's many stories. We've just touched a bit on some of those stories, and this is
Yes.
one of those which we will certainly be hearing more of. Probably, could you be planning to write a book or shoot a documentary about some of these inside stories about the story of the Black Pirates and the story of the 100 games you have managed as a coach?
Well, it would be a good thing, but yeah, let's see how life goes. But I think it would be a good thing if it happens. I see people doing it. I don't think what could stop it.
Again, thank you very much, Coach, for
Yes.
hosting us here at Kings Park. And it was very, very nice to hear the story of the 100 games from your perspective and how they went, and some of those anecdotes of moments that the public did not get the chance and the privilege to witness or to hear of. And we appreciate sharing these
Thank you.
moments with us, and we hope to have some more with you in the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you for again inviting me, for setting this up for us to see that we get to hear the story, but also to create content for our rugby circles and the like, to see that the game gets to grow and we get to move it to another level, working hand in hand. Content providers and the guys who create the content and media, bring it together and exposing it to the world. I think something we need to do as a community to see that we grow our game and we increase the fan base. This fan base gets to increase, then I guess the sponsorship will follow suit, and then everyone's life will become much better. The players, the administrators, the coaches, the fans, and yeah, shall they enjoy our lives.
All right. From us here at Kawowo Sports, we would like to appreciate the time you've spent listening to this story and watching the story of Coach Bobby and his 100 games. And please keep it Kawowo Sports. We'll be bringing you this and more stories like this on our platforms on YouTube and on social media. So please keep it Kawowo Sports and have a good afternoon.
Thank you.